I believe that New Age ways of thinking and New Age spiritual beliefs can actually fuel romantic obsession in a really harmful way. And I actually experienced this myself. And so I want to just unpack a little bit about what's going on and how you can break free from this unhealthy pattern of focusing all your attention and love and interest on people that actually aren't available for you. My twin flame limerence story began at the end of my marriage, and all of a sudden that connection, that adoration, that love, that sense of someone witnessing my life was taken away. And so connection, that fundamental human need for connection, was missing. And so it makes sense that I would project that onto someone, because I like this twin flame concept, because I like this idea of you have this intense, karmic kind of soul purpose relationship. It was almost like, well, then I can replace that 11 years with someone that built up slowly over time. I can almost like replace that instantly. And then that huge gap, that huge part of my life that was missing, can be resolved. So you can see how my spiritual belief systems and concepts around destiny, twin flames, the universe, signs, messages, were all kind of fueling that romantic obsession and helping me justify it in my brain that this was real and this was important and this was something that I should keep paying attention to. There are 3 main steps you can use to break yourself free once you realize this is not a healthy pattern for you, once you've identified that you're probably not going to be in a meaningful relationship with this person. So the first step is to strip away all New Age language. So forget about soulmates, forget about karma, forget about twin flames, forget about the messages that the universe is trying to tell you, is to let all of that go. So those stories, they just fuel your romantic obsession. For me, I felt like this guy had to be my twin flame because of the circumstances under which I kept bumping into him. I even heard a voice a few times tell me to go to a particular place and he would always be there. So when it comes to the New Age world, I always like to bring a bit of psychology back in. So the whole twin flame chaser runner scenario that people often talk about, where there's this idea that one person is kind of chasing the other person and they're running away from the connection. Now, from a psychological point of view, that's an anxious and avoidant attachment style. So it can be when someone is very anxious about losing a connection, they will chase, and the person that's sort of scared of being too close will run away. Now, so if you strip away the New Age language, you will see that if you're someone that's anxious and you're the chaser, that person that's running away is probably not going to be the right partner for you. So by stripping away that twin flame kind of dynamic, you can actually see that this is not a healthy environment for you to create a lasting and loving relationship. That you need someone that's also meeting you halfway, not someone that you always have to kind of lean towards in order for them to connect back with you. I really feel that both people that are running away and running towards connection actually both have a fear of intimacy. And I think that's connected with this limerence behavior. If you really fear at a deep core level, getting really close with someone, maybe because you fear they're going to hurt you or abandon you, then you're going to want to fantasize on someone unavailable because it's safe, it protects you. You don't ever have to get your feelings really deeply hurt because you never had a real connection to begin with. So it can be a safe place for you to sit when you're a bit afraid and not sure if you're ready to get into a real relationship. So from that regard, it's kind of like maybe you're just not ready at the moment. And maybe you need to lean into feeling more comfortable in intimacy, being more vulnerable, for example, in your friendships, kind of practicing those skills so that you actually feel like you could show up in a real relationship with someone that wants to show up with you. The second step is to forget the signs and focus on the practicalities. Now, this can be a really tricky one when you have strong New Age beliefs, as I did back then, and I still do to some degree now. But where like our brains are designed to collect information to confirm what we already believe. So as soon as we believe this person is our soulmate or twin flame, we're going to be scanning for signs. We're going to be confirming ourselves with the things that make it look like that's the case, and we're going to be actually just forgetting about the other signs. So the sign that this guy has a girlfriend or a wife, or is not showing really any major interest in pursuing a relationship with you, we're going to sort of forget about those by focusing on the magical and the mystical. I keep running into him. A voice has told me this is my person. I kept seeing these numbers on the clock, when I talk to him. So when it comes to anything that's a problematic area of your life, it's always good to really get rid of that kind of layer of New Age narrative, because that can just be used by the brain to distract yourself from what's really going on. So when I say forget the signs and focus on practicalities, focus on the practicalities. Is this person available? If you weren't thinking about it as a spiritual relationship, if you're just thinking about an ordinary relationship, is this person available? Are they showing interest? Are they moving towards you? Or is this just you stuck in kind of some limbo where you're not really sure what's going on? That's usually a sign this is not going to end up in the place where you want it to be. The third step is really just to burst the fantasy when you're ready. And so the fantasy will burst at some point, guaranteed, but sometimes you need a little bit of time. Sometimes it is a bit of a coping mechanism while you're going through a sense of loss from a previous relationship, or you're going through some kind of stress in your life that you want to have this sense there's something amazing, magical, exciting just around the corner. And that's definitely what my limerence pattern represented for me. It kind of made me feel amazing. I felt excited. I wanted to get up every morning and to see if I would bump into this guy. It was like there was almost magic and meaning to my life. So it bursts when it's ready. By that I mean that whatever you're specifically getting from engaging in this limerence obsessive pattern, once you can find other ways, healthier ways of getting those same needs met, usually your interest in this person just kind of naturally fades away. And that's what happened for me. So basically, limerence for me was giving me two things. It was giving me connection, a sense of like I'm not alone, like I have some important person that's kind of drawn to me, that I'm important in their life too. So once I was able to establish that more with other friendships in my life and even connection with myself, then all of a sudden I didn't need him to keep showing up, to keep giving me that sense of like, oh, I do have connection in my life. And the other thing that he gave me was a sense of meaning. And it wasn't actually anything to do with him. It was their signs and the bumping into, and the universe wants us to be together. Like I really felt this sense of, oh, there's meaning to the loss. The loss of my marriage has meaning because I'm meant to be with this other person. And just this greater meaning, like, everything happens for a reason. There's this magic kind of this synchronicity to life that brings in the right people at the right time. Like I wanted to believe in that stuff, and I still do believe in those ideas. But I was just using this person to kind of bolster up really what was my doubt, having doubt about whether my life had meaning. So once I found meaning in other areas of my life, I started pursuing some hobbies and a shift in career that gave me that sense of fulfillment, that gave me that sense of I'm on the right path. Then it almost didn't really matter as much if he was on my path. And so I stopped bumping into him, I stopped thinking about him, and other things became more important to me. So those are the 3 steps to break free of limerence if you're someone that has New Age spiritual beliefs. And so, as I said, the first one is to strip away all that spiritual language. The second one is to forget about signs and focus on the practical. And the third one is to allow that fantasy to shatter or break, or even just gently dissolve. When you're ready, there's no need to rush this. It's not the worst thing in the world to have had a romantic obsession over someone, as long as it doesn't go on excessively long and distract you too much from other areas of your life. Then it's actually could be an okay coping strategy in the short term. And you just want to make sure that you're looking at what needs aren't being fulfilled and finding healthier ways to fill those, so that you can move forward and then be open to inviting in the right person when that happens at the right time.